We have 4 types of leadership that I'm going to talk about. And these are the 1. They all start with letter T and letter L, so I call it the 4 TL types of leadership. So the first one is called traditional leader. The second one is called transitional lunatic. The third one is called transnational lord. And the fourth one is called transcendental leader. In order to understand those leadership, I'll now come up with self-awareness. We got to understand I am, and that is in terms of time and space. Secondly, we got to understand eternity. That comes in terms of whether there is an end or not, so we will say no end. And the last one is we have to understand spirit. That is in the sense of freedom. In these things that we need to understand, because with that we will then go on to understand the domain of leadership. And with that domain of leadership, I'm talking about the sphere of operation. 1. 2 is the purpose of leadership, why you are here in this place. And the third one is accountability, because you don't want to return where you came from without doing what you are here to do. And after talking about that, I'll give you a conclusion that you are a leader programmed to lead your sphere of influence, and you are part of the whole body of existence. And that you are here to lead by hearing, right? You just do what you hear and say what you hear. You're not here to lead by what you think you know, or you are here to lead by hearing. And then we're going to differentiate how we operate by looking at the 2 empires that exist on planet Earth. We call it the empire of flesh and empire of the spirit. And then I'll conclude by saying that in leading us into this sphere that I'm trying to tell us to go into, the selfless sort of leadership, you will always have conflict. Why? Because the world will hate you. And so you need to be prepared. That's the general summary now. So now let's go on. Very exciting. We have 4 types of leadership. And I want you to understand, when somebody talks about leadership, you have to know and understand and put them. Those of us who are academics, we try to paint images with words. So I'm painting 4 chairs that have the same titles or same initials. TL Chair 1, TL Chair 2, TL Chair 3, TL Chair 4. And the first one is called traditional leader. Second chair is called transitional lunatic. Third chair is called transnational lord. Fourth chair is called transcendental leader. Let's look at them. Let's look at them. A traditional leader is a leader where I think of the leaders that we had in the village when I went to school, in primary school, and before I went to school. These are leaders that perform the role of tribal leaders, where their concern is the welfare of the tribe. And so whenever they are speaking, they are talking about the benefit of the tribe, the risks of the tribe, the activities of the tribe, not themselves. So when I went to school and I'm here now working, the tribe is counting me as a benefit to them, although I don't get my fortnight money and share it to them. The tribal members benefit nothing, but they are proud and happy that I am a member of their tribe. You getting me now? And therefore, when they compare the tribe with the other tribes, they will say, oh, our tribe has 20 teachers, 2 lawyers, 5 doctors, and the other tribe, they have 1 mechanic and 1 carpenter. You are familiar with it, that's why you're smiling. So the tribal leader has nothing personal. His care and his concern and his business is the welfare of the tribe. If an individual gets into an accident, let's say he is driving on a vehicle and runs over someone, the enemies, the relatives of the victim, who will they go for? The driver or the tribe? And boy said, driver will want him have. Hey, all this like clearly all this like tribe all city to have ya. Tell them, put 20,000 here. 100 pigs. So an individual wrong has become a tribal wrong. Can you see now? An individual achievement is a tribal achievement. And so the leader goes and says, people are in trouble now. Now, when did you get trouble, leader? No. One of our guys ran into someone and he got accident. So you may learn a pig. The tribal leader is now coming to compensate for the individual wrong. So that leadership mentality is one where the leader's concern is the welfare, the safety, the prosperity of the tribe. Now, if you bring that leadership at a provincial level or at a national level, you can demonstrate that. So the leader, as a national leader, is talking about the welfare of the nation. Oh, if Russia has many scientists and they are sending men to the moon, Papua New Guinea should do the same. So his concern and care is now no longer comparing tribe to tribe, but nation to nation now. His concern is the welfare of the nation. How many? So he should be looking at, wow, Chinese have 1,000 multimillionaires. America has 300 multimillionaires. We Papua New Guineans should now start producing millionaires now. So jealousy, envy, competition, unhealthy competition are out. The leader's job now at a national level is the welfare of every individual and citizen in the country. That's the tribal, the spirit and characteristics of the tribal leader. So, to put it in a biblical context, I put some, you have my notes, you'll see. There are many you can get, but I only pick up four characteristics. I call it one, the shepherd leadership. The spirit of a shepherd is in traditional leaders. Moses, in Exodus chapter 3, verse 1, you will see that. Exodus chapter 4, verse 30, you will see the leader, a traditional leader, delegates responsibilities. We come back to the tribal driver gets into a car accident. Leader Mbatok, wait, you kiss him 1 lapik, you kiss him 500, me kiss him 10 lapik, you kiss him 10, you may line him up now. He delegates responsibilities. And everybody collectively works. So in that Bible verse, delegating responsibility, God appoints Moses, you lead the children of Israel. Now Moses identifies that he is a stutterer, he can speak. So he said, thank you, but I'll delegate my authority to my brother Aaron. So he'll be the speaker. You can find many examples. Leaders delegate, traditional leaders delegate responsibilities. So that's the second characteristics you see. First one I said, this displays the spirit of a shepherd, one who cares for the sheep. The third one is loyalty. You see David and Jonathan. David was a king anointed by Samuel, but his loyalty to Jonathan, irrespective of his father hunting to kill him. Some of you come from tribal enemies, but you might have a schoolmate who is a friend. His father may be trying to kill you, but your schoolmate is your buddy. Jonathan and David fell into death. But imagine, you are more than the son of your tribal enemy. So let's say you are the member of parliament, or you are a departmental head or a CEO of a big company, and the son of your enemy is a good friend to you. And I have some personal experience too, where I wanted to give some work to some people. Some of my relatives come and said, his father was like this in the olden days. So you have to remember, don't hang around with his son. But Jonathan and David, you see the loyalty. Tribal leaders have loyalties. Then they demonstrate loyalties. And the last one is representative. The tribal leader is a representative of the people. That's why when Achan sinned, Joshua cried and said, Lord, forgive us our sins, forgive Israel, because one man's sin became Israel's sin. Therefore, Joshua, the tribal leader, had to own the sin and ask God to intervene and help. But what do you mean? I don't know how we do it, but tribal leaders do that. My wrong becomes the wrong of my leader, so he will spend his pig and money to defend me to pay compensation. Let's go to the next. That's the first leadership. You can go to the leader in the modern context. You just apply the tests. What sort of leadership characteristics this leader demonstrates in an organization, as the principal of a school, as the CEO of a company, as the leader of an organization, as the leader of a political entity, and so forth. So you apply the characteristics. I'm giving you the tests you can apply. This is not limited. You can add more. I'm giving you examples. Number 2, lunatic leaders. The word lunatic, I don't want you to be offended by it. I use it in the nice sense. I have defined it for you. So at the last, number 3, the last page gives you the meaning of lunatic. What is a lunatic? A lunatic is a person who is mentally ill. The meaning of lunatic is affected with a severely disordered state of mind, insane. Someone who behaves in a silly or dangerous way. He drives like a lunatic, you can say. A lunatic is an antiquated term referring to a person who is seen as mentally ill, dangerous, foolish, crazy, conditions once attributed to lunacy. So I'm putting all those definitions for you, so at least you know what I mean. I'm not saying it in a bad way. I'm saying it in a descriptive way to fit in some of the characteristics displayed by people who occupy leadership positions, including ourselves. If I'm the husband of a wife, father of children, even the characteristics we apply can demonstrate, and we can also self-test whether we are a traditional leaders or we are lunatic leaders. The first criteria, among many, I, of course, also picked up 4 criteria that we can apply to test a lunatic leader. 1, he show off their deeds. Matthew chapter 6, verse 1 to 2. Jesus said, if your right hand does something good, don't let your left hand know. Because only a leader who is a lunatic, he wants to show off. Showing off what you do to the public is a demonstration of mental disorder. Why do you want to show it off? When Jesus said, when your right hand does something good, don't let your left hand know. The hands are both part of my body. If my right hand is doing something, my left hand will know anyway, without even my right hand telling it, because both are attached to me. But Jesus is saying, if your right hand does it, don't let your left hand know. So as a leader, we are not supposed to show off and publicize what we do. You want to follow the biblical leadership style, the world will hate you, and you will have to do many things quite the complete opposite of the things the way the world do. So lunatics show off their good deeds and announce it to the whole world. Number two, they are greedy and accumulate, whereas selfless leaders do not. The scriptures are there. All they want to do is accumulate, accumulate, accumulate. All of them long, yeah. Lunatic. The third one, they are hypocrites. The heart of a leader is revealed by his action. You cannot have it both ways and deceive yourselves. Look at the scriptures. The scriptures are very clear. Jesus said, your heart is revealed by what you do, not what you say. So, what they do is, they say one thing, but they do another. These are lunatics. And the last one, it's not limited, you can add more. They live by lying, whereas selfless leaders do not. Jesus said, leaders who are like that, who tell lies, your father is the devil because he was a liar from the beginning. So these are the lunatics. Now I'll tell you, if you apply this at a global level, it's very sad. When the Twin Towers were blown up by America and the Israelis Mossad, they blamed 19 Muslims from Saudi Arabia. Instead of bombing Saudi Arabia, they went and bombed Iraq continuously for 40 days before the soldiers set foot to raid and invade Iraq. The entire Western world, including Australia, went, and I was in Australia, and we used to pray in the Baptist church for the Australian soldiers to go to Iraq to kill the Iraqis because they are in harm's way, Lord. Protect them because they are fighting our enemies to protect Australia. And I was yet to see an Australian being attacked by Iraqis. Now we are laughing. But what sort of leaders make that kind of decisions? Lunatics. Yet the world pays respect. Oh, long line. How did the Iraqis come and attack America on 9/11? Nobody did. Do you have the evidence? No. They did the same to Colonel Gaddafi, a man who had the heart for his people, who was providing free electricity, subsidized water and housing, free education. The Western world said, oh, he's a rogue leader. He's a dictator. So they went and murdered him. What sort of a leader is that? Lunatics. They went and bombed Afghanistan. You know, Afghanistan has been bombed in the 70s, 80s, 90s. The most bombed country on planet Earth is Afghanistan. Probably the entire country is filled with bombs. America has dropped 40,000 bombs in a few years, somebody said. Not only bombing, and they don't tell you because they control the media. They are sitting down and pressing the button, and pilotless drones are flying, and they are bombing wedding parties into smithereens. Even a Pakistani man went to America to see the American government for blowing up his grandmother in front of him. We have leaders who are lunatics in this world, longs. Right now as we speak, the entire Western world is trying to cover Russia and supplying all kinds of weapons. They are saying we are doing that to restore peace. America just approved $48 billion. Russia's military budget in a year is $43 billion. But America gave $48 billion to Ukraine. And the entire Western nation is pumping more military hardware in the name of maintaining peace. It's like a fire is burning and you pour the kerosene. Why are you doing that? No, to stop the fire. We want to stop the fire, so we pour kerosene. So we now have come. We are laughing, but that's exactly what happened to COVID-19. There is no COVID. It's a bioweapon. I have the patents. America has built up 30 bioweapon labs in Ukraine before Russia invaded. They have how many in Georgia? How many in many parts of the world? The world is now ruled by Satanists, hell-bent on trying to destroy God's creation. We have a battle on hands of these things that I'm saying. When we come to the conclusion, we've got to make some decisions. They are injecting the entire world. Now, I wanted to go to Australia because last weekend on a Friday, Prime Minister went to Brisbane for the Business Council meeting and asked me to come. But I couldn't go because Australia says you have to show proof of vaccination. I'm not sick, I don't have COVID, but it's their law because they think there's a COVID. And I might be a danger to Australia when I'm a blessing to them. They don't want to get my blessing. But leaders have become lunatics. The list goes on. Don't look at it locally only. You apply it nationally, internationally, also within our different organizations. People are making decisions that are weird. At Octedi, we were having dinner, and these Australians and Papua New Guineans, we were sitting, and I was talking about, here is the day we were born, and every time we are walking towards the day we will die. That eternal past is there, that eternal future is there. I just appeared, walking towards to disappear. So why am I here? And this Australian asked, what's your answer? I said, I have an answer, but I won't tell you because my answer is disputed. In these days and age, people don't want to receive any answer to any question. Why? Because there was a black American Supreme Court judge appointed as a judge of the Supreme Court, and a white senator, a politician, is asking her a question during the Senate confirmation hearing. What is a woman? So a white woman is asking a black woman, what is a woman? And she said, I'm not a biologist. So I said, we live in an age and time when the answer is not known. So how can I give an answer when it is unknown? This is the age of lunatics. We need to come out of it. The third kind of leadership is transnational lords. King Nebuchadnezzar was a transnational lord. Scriptures are there. He ruled an empire. He thought he'll conquer the world, but he kicked the bucket. Augustus Caesar, the first Roman empire that he founded, he thought he'll conquer the world. He was a transnational lord. He wanted to own the world, but he died. Napoleon Bonaparte, he too, a French military leader and emperor, followed the same. And one of his quotations, I put it on the paper there, you will see, and I quote, he said, if you wish to be a success in the world, promise everything, delivering nothing. In other words, become a hypocrite and be a lunatic. Now, we don't have Nebuchadnezzar, we don't have Augustus Caesar, we don't have Napoleon Bonaparte, we have the New World Orders, one worlders. We have the New World Order, made up of people like Klaus Schwab, Bill Gates, the Rockefellers, the Warburgs, the Schiffs, the Rothschilds. Together, with a crop of leaders who call them the rule-based global rulers. They want to conquer the world, and they are saying humanity, everyone are useless eaters of Earth's finite resources. Therefore, we have to kill them. As we are speaking, they are cooking up pandemics. Mark my word, it'll come. The next pandemic will hit Papua New Guinea. And by this time, there is a treaty that they are now framing up to give unlimited power to the World Health Organization. Under that treaty, they will own the world to declare pandemics at any time they want. And no home government will have any power to overrule them. And that treaty will be signed very shortly. It's getting momentum. And I'm warning some of our leaders, be careful. These are the one world, global, transnational leaders. So at the local level here, you are a leader, you are a CEO. You want to go from, you don't want to run your corporation, you want to go from Gold Coast to Sydney to New York to Hong Kong to Singapore, you are on a business tour. You globetrot, you don't stay home. If you are a politician, you do the same. You don't stay in your electorate. You go from one place to another and one capital to another. If you are in a little, any other place, you are the same. Or if you are not traveling physically, maybe your mind is going from one to another. Thinking and dreaming of owning the world as if you will have everything in your lifetime. That's the transnational leader. He doesn't have a heart for the people. He doesn't think about serving others. He doesn't care about others' needs. All he thinks about is the world and what he can do to grab in the world for himself to see the world. These are the transnational leaders that we have, transnational lords. A transcendent leader is one selfless. Self dies to transcend, as a seed dies in order to grow. Self dies to transcend in order to live. A corn will not bear more corn seeds or fruits without dying. It has to die. So you want to be a leader, you operate away from yourself. How will you do it? I'll give you the hints. Look at the scriptures. Galatians 2:20. What does it say? Many scriptures, but I'll read this one. I have been crucified with Christ. It's no longer I who live, but Christ lives in me. And the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God who loved me and gave himself for me. It's no longer I that live, but Christ that lives in me. Proverbs 23 verse 7. For as a man thinks, so is he. Do you think you died? And do you think you don't live? Do you think Christ is living in you? That's our problem. We got to make Christ live in me and not me. And that must become real. Because you become as you think. I become whom I think I am. A transcendent leader is a light of the world. Number 3 is a transcendent leader does not accumulate material possessions on earth. He doesn't build mansions or palaces for himself. Jesus said, birds of the air have nests to rest, foxes have holes, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head to rest. And when I'm looking at that and many leaders on earth, even Christians, God is probably telling them something else. But I'm looking at the life of Jesus. Sometimes we use the scriptures to justify our material accumulation. When Jesus Christ, who should have had the best mansion on planet Earth, didn't have any. Sometimes we say, this is God's blessings. And then when people who have nothing, no material accumulation, we kind of think it's God's curse. But we have to come out of it and look beyond differently. That's what I want us to do now. The next, we are healers, not poisoners. Whereas lunatic leaders are sorcerers and they are destroying the world. I define sorcery for you. Sorcery comes from the word pharma, in Greek word meaning pharmakeia, which means sorcery. And that's where the pharmaceutical industry and pharmacy comes from. And if you look at their logo, it's a snake. That Moses got the stick and put the snake in the desert, so anybody who looks at the snake will get healed. When that points to Christ, they are pointing us to the snake, and the pharmaceutical industry has taken over that function. But if you are a transcendental leader, you don't poison people and send them to get healing somewhere. You heal them. Where does it say that? Matthew chapter 10 verse 1. Let's see. I read that scripture so we'll see. See, you look at the scriptures because I'm not making up some things here. I'm saying exactly what the Bible says. Matthew 10 verse 1. And when he had called his 12 disciples to him, he gave them power over unclean spirits to cast them out and to heal all kinds of sicknesses and all kinds of diseases. Somewhere in Kagua, some mothers were accused of being possessed by demons, and so they burned them at the stake. And I was wondering, where are the Christians? Because they have the mandate and the power to cast out the demons. Instead, we are telling them to be burned. Where are we Christians? And when we are all crowding to the medical doctors and pharmacy and hospitals, I am thinking I became embarrassed myself. In fact, I am to this day. We need to find a solution because we have neglected and transferred our heavenly mandate to heal to the pharmaceutical companies. Look at Peter and John. They went to pray at the beautiful gate, temple. They see a lame man, and he's begging, "Oh, please, give me some money." Now Peter and John, two blended of, "Oh, we'll raise some funds at our church, and we'll buy you a wheelchair. So we'll pray for you." Did they say that? He will be forever paralyzed, running around on the wheelchair. And they will be forever praying in the church, "Lord, give us some money. We're collecting some money, so help us, so we'll help the paralyzed man. So we'll buy a wheelchair." Transcending the leaders, they don't shift responsibility. They exercise their power. And there is only one transcendent leader, and that's Jesus Christ. All of us as Christians are called to be like Christ. Amen. And he is our model. You don't look for any earthly model. Don't even get quotations from any earthly man. Put an end to it. Get it from Christ.